Unfortunately, for those of us who are constantly dreaming of things we'd like to have, big, beautiful houses, luxury vacations, the latest tech gadgets, money isn't an unlimited resource. In fact, for many of us, it's a very limited resource. Being an adult with money to spend means finding a balance between needs, wants, and goals that works for you. That's where budgeting comes in. Today we'll be looking at the personal budget and why it is important. Welcome to the Enriched Adult, the place that helps lay the foundation for future success. And we hope this video will inspire you and bring value to your life. Before we continue, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click the notification button so you don't miss any videos. Also, feel free to leave a comment. We will reply directly to the first few of you who write to us. And check out the links in the description box. Now, let's get started. What is a budget? Much like a business must develop a budget to ensure it's spending money efficiently and not spending more than it can afford, individuals who want to monitor their finances and ensure they're spending responsibly must develop their own personal budget. A personal budget or household budget simply tracks a household's money in versus money out. Though a budget can be used to help an individual or family spend less and save more, it is at its most basic, a planning and tracking tool. Budgeting is all about being intentional with the ways you spend your money and planning ahead to help ensure you don't run into any inconvenient or potentially financially ruinous surprises before you receive your next paycheck. This planning ahead also means you can save money for future goals and figure out exactly how long it will take you to reach them. A budget also helps you be more confident in spending money on the things you want but don't necessarily need. Instead of feeling guilty or worrying that the cost of something will have you eating toast for the rest of the month, you'll know exactly how much you can spend without having to take away from other more vital areas. Why do I need a budget? Even if you aren't trying to reach a goal, like saving a certain amount of money or paying down debt, having a personal budget is still key to better financial health. Tracking the money you spend and planning ahead for future expenses can prevent you from overspending or spending money that is needed for upcoming expenses. Having it written down helps you visualize how much you have to work with and what you're spending that money on. A budget helps ensure that these two sides of the equation match up. Planning out what things you need to spend your money on from week to week and month to month means you won't accidentally spend too much on food and end up short on rent. It gives you a bird's eye view of where your money is going and how to spend your money in a more productive way. It will help to see if you are on track to reach your financial goals and where or if you need to make adjustments to reach these goals. It also helps you map out how are you going to achieve those goals? How do I create a budget? To create a budget, you need to take a look at your whole financial picture. Look at how much you make, how much you have, and how much you spend. Figure out your income. First, you need to know what you're working with. Figure out how much you typically have coming in each month. Figure out your expenditure. Figure out how much you spend each month and on what. Some expenses will be pretty similar each month, example rent, insurance, groceries, etc., and thus easy to track. Other expenses such as eating out or varying household purchases will probably be different from month to month, making them more difficult to plan for. You can make budgeting a little easier by tracking your regular spending or having an app to do it for you. Then figure out an average for how much you spend on these types of expenses, and if you can, give yourself some wiggle room. That way, if you spend less than planned one month, you can save that extra money for a month where you end up spending more. Do the math. Once you know the what goes in versus what goes out of your finances, you're ready to start planning. Ideally, once you add up the costs of all your expenses, the total number will be less than your net income. If your expenses are more than your income, you'll need to look for ways to cut back. If the two numbers are about the same, think about what your goals are and what you're currently spending your money on. If you're already spending less than you're earning, then you have some money to play around with that you can spend, save, invest, or put towards paying down debt. Identify areas you can cut back. If you're spending more than your budget can handle, you'll have to do an audit of what you're spending your money on and find ways to spend less. The most obvious place to start is with non-essentials that you wouldn't miss too much. Look at all the subscriptions and memberships you're paying for. Maybe you don't really need multiple video streaming services, or perhaps you haven't gone to the gym in months. Finding expenses like these to cut out will add up, especially over time, and can potentially save you a good chunk of cash. Look at some of the fun stuff you spend your money on, things that you like and are nice to have, but that you don't necessarily need. A potentially more significant way to cut back also tends to be more difficult. Reducing how much you spend on necessities. For example, if you're currently spending all of your money on rent, it might be worth consider looking for a new place with lower costs or bringing in a roommate. You won't always be able to make cuts in this area, but it can be worth it to take a look at and make sure you aren't overspending on something unnecessarily. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments what works for you so we can enrich our community while we do it. Click subscribe and the notification bell if this video added value to your life, as you do to ours. Until next time, let's live the enriched life.